call it the big time.
Ahead of Colleyville and Richland tonight, it's senior night here at Mustang Panther Stadium as we settle in for the seniors getting honored here before the home opener here in 2025.
Stormy. Number 7, Hayden West. Escorted by parents Rachel and Isaiah Harris and siblings Aaron and Reagan. Number 8, Connor Supin Casey, escorted by his mother, Linda Pinteran and brother Tristan. Number 12, Dax Keeville, escorted by parents Steve and Bobby Keeville, brother Jagger, and grandma Sandy. Number 13 and 89, Demarius and DeMarsha Logan, escorted by Marcus and Latoya Logan. Number 14, Landon Gressel, escorted by parents Tony and Elizabeth Gresselin, brothers Brendan and Drayden. Number 16, Dylan Hammond, escorted by parents Robert and Michelle Hammond, and sibling Cameron. Number 26, Colin Bennett.
Panther Friday night on Tradio. Well, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get going this evening. Came on a little bit early because of the fact that it was senior night tonight, and as some of the seniors were getting honored here at Mustang Panther Stadium, up on the big video board, it tells us there's a weather delay, so the fans leaving the stands, return.
How long that will take for us.
You'd expect 30 minutes, the standard delay for that, and then on top of it, giving the team more time to warm up. But of course, when we get more information from officials here at Mustang Panther Stadium, we'll be able to communicate that with you as we prepare to do this game. There is a ton to talk about with this matchup, and so we'll wait and see, but again, typically a half hour at least is the delay that you go through, and then of course you have the time to warm up. Now, the interesting component of this delay is it comes a few minutes or just around 6:30, right? So if there is a delay, it pushes it back to 7, depending on what the area looks like, and we'll get that for you in a moment on our radar, but then maybe it wouldn't be too long of a delay like you mentioned, because there's a weather delay being communicated to the fans here at Mustang Panther Stadium before the game.
True, but then you also had the senior night ceremony going on as well, and they weren't finished. They were actually in the middle of the ceremony, so I don't know if they resume it and pick it back up. Do they reschedule? I'm assuming they go back out and they continue it once everything is fine for everybody to come back out.
Yeah, that is interesting. Somebody like Dax Hebison and all the seniors that have poured just so much heart and sweat into this program for so many years, 4 years, and you cap it off with senior night home opener here in a non-district game, and it is a little curveball thrown your way. You have your family out there with you. You're being announced here in front of the fans of all your accomplishments, and you get that opportunity one time, and people say you'll always remember your senior day. Well, I think this makes it even more unique that in the middle of the senior day festivities, so to speak, a weather delay actually interrupted that process. So, of course, we're excited to talk about the X's and O's, but the senior day and what's going to happen with that, I would be willing to, I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, everybody wants to get their flowers on senior day, and then, yeah, we'll see how it ultimately affects everything with that. But it is a weather delay right now. If you're tuning into every week here on Panther Friday night, we still have that for you. Now, I'm Will Connerly alongside Tramel Jeffers and our entire crew. But a weather delay in the works right now, so kind of a waiting pattern before we learn and understand more information. And on the artificial surface here at Mustang Panther Stadium, if we do indeed get some rain, it's going to be interesting to see how it affects it.
Yeah, we'll see. It doesn't look like it's going to rain. Looks like it was just a little lightning strike. But like I said, hopefully it clears up so we can get playing some football. Home opener. I'm excited.
88 degrees and cloudy, the high 96 today, 71 the low. But 88 right now in Grapevine. Cloudy conditions, as you can probably tell. And they did put 25 on the clock, as you see on the screen now. So that would tell us that that is probably the amount of time until the players can come back on the field, and then would need additional time. Delay, and it was really unique to see that happen. And we have something like that tonight here in the DFW Metroplex up in Grapevine at Mustang Panther Stadium, as there's a weather delay as well. Tramel.
This game last night, You had the championship ceremony before the game. It kind of delayed the start of the game. We expected that. And then the weather delay, which lasted for about an hour. Hopefully it won't be the case here. Hopefully it'll be that 25 minutes that they have on the clock. But yeah, and when they come back, they're probably going to continue the ceremony because they were right in the middle of it. And then, like you factored in as well, the time to warm up. They have to warm up. They have to get some time to warm up. And then it's time to play ball afterwards.
It is indeed. So in the middle of the ceremony, that is an interesting parallel with the ceremonies last night, kicking off football season at the pro level, to then also having a weather delay like we saw in that opener last night, albeit in the second half. But this game delayed before it even gets started. We'll be kicking off a little bit after 7 o'clock this evening from our understanding, unless we have some more lightning get in the area. But the fans have been asked to leave the stands, return to their vehicles, and seek shelter as we continue to prepare for this matchup. It's the Richland Royals and the Colleyville Heritage Panthers here at home, a rematch of Week 2 from a year ago when the Royals won by 20 points. So we will step aside for just a moment, and we'll try to go find some more information before we get going tonight here at Mustang Panther Stadium. So stay tuned with us. It's Panther Friday night on Tradio. Well, it will be a late night here at Mustang Panther Stadium. We are in a weather delay. They don't know when they're going to go out there, but they also are just trying to stay loose. And
Direction opposite of ours.
up for a game. Richland looking to move to 2-0. Colleyville trying to get some momentum before they start district play upcoming next week. So I'm with you, Trammell. A really fun matchup that we have in store for you tonight. But you, me, and the rest of the Tradio crew, along with all the fans watching for the Panthers and the Royals, will have to be a little bit patient tonight because we've got our second weather delay. One came around 6:30. We waited a little bit, and then another strike came. So time
is pretty much what happened, and they also
and then took a 24-14 who will have a common Richland Panther Stadium next Friday night. Mansfield Timberview, but week 2 a little delayed right now because of lightning in the area. We've had one around 6:30, one not too long ago that is going to tack on another half hour to the delay. So we are in a time of limbo. And again, trying to search for that information as we can. But plenty of information on this matchup. I cannot wait to break it down with you, Trammell. And of course, for the rest of the season here on Panther Friday night on Tradio. But for Colleyville, the big thing will start for them coming up next week, taking on the Colony, with it being district play. But these first two games, I mean, Jerry Edwards' team playing some really difficult
the district. The Colony, they're 1-1. And I also think Burleson will be more competitive. I think they'll be somewhere in the middle of the pack. So for the non-district games, the Red Oak Hawks the first week, and then this week we have the North Richland Hills Royals. So we're battle tested. We have a lot of good football teams that we're going to see.
Yeah, through 1 week, you play Red Oak, you get ready to play Richland, then district play comes. It certainly helps. Same non-district schedule that Colleyville had last year, Trammell. And I think that when you talk about districts, there perhaps isn't a more difficult district across the area than the one Richland plays, and especially at the toe, who seems to just be in contention every single year in Denton Ryan. Two great programs, and then Richland as well right there. And so Alito, Denton Ryan, Richland, that is a crazy top three in that district. They're in 3-5A. D1, Colleyville 3-5A, D2, and Richland, a team that has made back-to-back trips to the regional semifinals. But again, the big question for Jag Cates and company, they lost 34 seniors a year ago, so trying to retool this team, and we'll, of course, get into all of that. And they've, again, got another superstar running back, it seems like, after having a big-time commit going to Baylor that ended up getting hurt. The man that stepped in, Jayshon Gibson, really did at a high level last year, and he's really blossomed in week one. So another star running back that looks like it's going to be another Power 4 commit like Michael Turner was a year ago for Richland. But they're in a great district as well, Trammell, when we speak of in-district play.
Yeah, like you spoke on Alito, it seems like they're in contention every year. Great football team, great football school every single year. Denton Ryan, another team just like
around DFW knows that it's going to be incredibly difficult to be a competitor and contender within your region. Something that Colleyville has got into the conversation of over the last handful of years. Yes, they've been consistent in the playoffs, but making the playoffs over the last 2 decades. But talking with head football coach Jerry Edwards, and we discussed it in week one, he said a big part of this offseason after making a deep run a couple of years ago in his first season, then last year falling in the first round, he said a lot of the talk was how can this program take the next step, and they want to be considered a region favorite going in every year. And it feels like, at least for the district Richland plays in, there's multiple regional favorites within their district. But a lot to touch on in this matchup this evening, Trammell. And as we still look around, everybody enjoying a discussion on football teams and districts. If you have just joined us and wondering what's going on tonight, well, it's a weather delay. Almost a half hour past when we thought the ball would have been in the air, because about an hour ago we had our first delay because lightning was in the area just to the north here of us in Grapevine at Mustang Panther Stadium. And then another delay happened not too long after that. So we're in limbo in a delay right now, waiting to receive more information before we can get this game kicked off. Trammell Jeffers tells you that Colleyville will be battle tested after these 2 games, but we're looking to see how tough that test will be tonight as Colleyville gets ready to take on the Royals of Richland, hailing from North Richland Hills. So 2 teams certainly storied within their programs, 2 teams that have been to the playoffs quite a bit, and they want to go toe-to-toe in week one. Perhaps Colleyville trying to do what Red Oak did to them last week and get a little revenge, so to speak, for falling last year on the road and now coming to their house here at MP Stadium.
Yeah, and it's the senior night. Nobody wants to lose on senior night. So this is a special moment for the seniors. This is a night that they won't forget. So it's important to this 12th grade group to get a win. It would mean the world to them. I remember when I was a 12th grader, my senior year, I wanted to win on senior night. That didn't happen, but this isn't about me. But this is a special night for those 12th graders, those seniors. They really want to get it done on their home field, one of the last times that they will ever play on this field. The last year they'll play here on this field. So it means a lot, and they're coming off of a loss from last week. Nobody wants to start 0-2 either. Like we mentioned last week, Colleyville came in ranked in the top 25 in 5A. And with another loss, that could put a blow to where they came in. So they want to keep that level of high expectations, and they want to build some momentum going into district play.
Yes, I think that's the biggest key tonight, is that the result's certainly important. You want to get wins, but getting to know Coach Edwards over the last couple of years, obviously it's a hyper-focus. Any football coach around here, the non-district games want to prepare you for district play. There's no secret there. It's kind of like it may be different, right, in college football when every game kind of it goes under your resume. It's not the same here when your contention to get into the playoffs is based off what you do within your district in high school. So, of course, it is about trying to play your best football, win the football game, and prepare, just like you said, prepare for district. But And that's a lot of the times why the senior night isn't a non-district game. So the focus increases more, the intensity increases more. So those things start happening. But I do find it interesting how you say you do remember your senior night. And it will be one to remember, I feel like, for these guys as well, who were in the midst of a ceremony about an hour ago. And now, fast forward an hour later, and that ceremony interrupted, and now they're in the locker room waiting to know when they can play football tonight on their senior.
That's kind of frustrating to think about if I'm the players. Am I going to get to play on my senior night? The guys who didn't get a chance to walk out the tunnel yet because, like I mentioned earlier, they were in the middle of that ceremony. They had really just got it started. So those guys are thinking, will I get a chance to walk game call for senior night? Will I play on my senior night? Are they going to reschedule senior night? What's going to happen? There's so many thoughts going on. They're going to reschedule senior night. What's going to happen? There's so many thoughts going on in those guys' heads. And then even the it's not going to have the same feel as a 7.
And when we start seeing players get on the gridiron this evening and a football game happen, will they lead ups and build ups, the bands, the cheerleaders, the runouts? Because it is interesting. Do they go back to where they were in the process? Interesting. Do they go back to where they were in the process of warming up? I mean, at this point, feels like it just is. You're completely having to get fully loose again because it's been now about an hour. Now, I know it's only 30 minutes past the original scheduled kickoff, but we had the delay come down in the middle of senior night, which started around 6:15, and around 6:30 we got players started walking off the field, and I look over across the way, and we're trying to figure out what's going on, and the board says weather delay. And now we've been in this limbo ever since, and we're not sure when the game will start. We haven't got any more information just yet as we look around and try to gather that for you. So, up here in the press box, both press boxes are full of people just sitting down and waiting for information, it seems like. Obviously, the coaches up here and other media members and public address and cameras, but we're all just waiting, ready to bring you a football game tonight because it is Panther Friday night on Tradio, but as you said, Trammell, maybe a little bit different Friday night than what people were expecting, but I still will say we're going to expect a great football game, and we're going to hope to gather a great football game and capture it for you and bring it to you live here tonight on Tradio.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get it kicking off.
And I think having a sideline reporter would be wonderful
for
a moment like this. Get somebody in the locker room asking the guys what's going on. Kind of like we had last night with the NFL opener, but it is interesting to see how could this affect things. I think you always look for something, and obviously we're going to break it down when the game goes on, but just that process of getting ready to do a game, senior or not, just going through your routine, now it's just different, and there's not really much else we could say other than wait and see when we're going to start getting some football. But we can tell you we do see some players, they're just kind of messing around outside. They're not coming on the field. I don't think anyone's allowed on the field yet because obviously they'd go out there if they were. But that's really the only information we have. Some of the coaches are down on the field having a discussion. So we are going to step aside again for a moment. And we're going to go try to find some more information for you. So your patience is appreciated. Hang with us here on Tradio because we promise to deliver you a high-level broadcast tonight. All righty, Panther Friday night on Tradio at 7:42. For a moment, we saw the Richland Royals start to run out, and we were getting extremely excited. Extremely excited. However, they are now running back into the locker room. So that is our that is our latest update for you, Trammell. I mean, we were getting ready. They were running out. Two things could have happened. They either ran out too early, which is what we hope, or, and I don't even want to say the second thing. You know what I'm thinking, right?
Another lightning delay.
And I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's the case. We're gonna go down and see. We have somebody communicating with us down there as well, some information. But that's what looks like could be the case. So we saw guys running out for a moment. You can see that on the screen, what's going on here. If you're just joining us, if you are waiting for us in the waiting room, you saw music, you're waiting for Panther Friday Night on Tradio. Well, we're here, we're live, ready to go, but a weather delay has delayed things, of course, here to 7:43, and we haven't kicked off yet. So you haven't missed any football tonight. Yeah, we had the senior day night presentation start around 6:15. That was interrupted by a delay that first came around 6:30, and we've continued to go through this process since. Richland ran. It's Panther Friday Night on Tradio, and after over an hour of weather delays, the team's back on the field, and they are starting their warm-up as we are getting ready for football. 15 minutes on the clock, and Trammell, the clock has already started, so that means that we have football coming up in just about 15 minutes, as it's the Richland Royals and the Colleyville Heritage Panthers here in Week 2, starting about 8 o'clock tonight. An hour delay of weather pushed this kickoff back, but the Richland Royals and the Colleyville Heritage Panthers set to play tonight. Great to see the teams warming up, and you're starting to get fired up about this matchup as well.
Oh, I told the broadcast earlier, the first time that they ran out on the field after the delay, I tried to run to the elevator, run down, and run out there on the field with the team, but the usher stopped me. She told me there was another delay, but it just seemed to be that we just ran out on the field a little bit too early. That's all it was. So we're about to start now. The clock has 13 minutes and 25 seconds. We are almost underway. It is almost that time.
It is almost that time, and it is about time to thanks for taking some time with us tonight as we preview week 2. But first, let's go back to the season opener. What's your biggest takeaways from that game at Red Oak?
Well, it was good for us to get that first one under our belt. We played a quality opponent. I didn't sugarcoat that all week. We knew going in that Red Oak, they were a 3-round deep team last year with a lot of guys coming back, a lot of Division I players on both sides of the ball. We're going to Red Oak, which is a tough place to play in itself. I was proud of our kids. We went toe-to-toe. Now, we came up on the short end, which we never want to do. But we were able to learn and grow. A lot of the, when we get back and broke down the film on Saturday, a lot of the mistakes we made came from first-time Friday Night Light guys, guys that was their first varsity game against a high-flying team. And so, now they know what the speed is and what it takes to get it done during the week in practice and be prepared. And so we're looking for a big jump this week to, improve as a football team.
In terms of the jump, what would you like to see this week improve upon from the season opener?
Well, there's two things really. We got to get in shape. We had some guys on defense kind of go down late in the game, just some cramps and some fatigue. But and then offensively, we got to be more efficient. We've got to have some explosive plays. We never really got in a groove last week offensively, like we had during fall camp in our scrimmage. And so that's one of the key things that, we really worked on this week. We have weapons and we have the guys, and we just got to settle down and move the football and move the chains. And, the biggest story of the game, if you look back, is field position. Field position killed us. There's about 175 hidden yards there that Red Oak got just based on field position. And so we've got to do a better job of flipping the field, moving the ball, not letting their offense, get out of, keep them backed up. And so that was kind of the things that we focused on this week is, getting our offense on track, making sure that we're ready to go, and then making sure we can do a better job of controlling field position.
In terms of the newcomers or first-time Friday night guys, your line
State. As a dad, I was proud of him. As a coach, I was proud of him being ready for his team to go. And that's kind of the mentality we want, not just with my personal son, but all our players is, you're a moment away from having to step in and help us win games. And so on offense, defense, and special teams, to step in and help us win games. And so on offense, defense, and special teams. And so everybody's got to offensively, what Richland does is they're not going to beat themselves. They do a really good job of keeping it simple, but being highly efficient and then mixing in some explosive plays. They take
like at least getting receptions in week 1?
Yeah, I thought Bodie played extremely well. He did a good job running the ball when we asked him to run the ball. Kind of improve, we got to do a little bit better job up front, give him a little bit more time, give our running back some holes to hit. We're a couple blocks away from busting a couple in the run game. And so we got to clean that up.
You looking forward to most to getting to play at MP once again here tonight?
Well, always excited to play at MP. We've had a pretty good home record at AP. Our kids play well there, and I heard this from a coach a long time ago. Is when you play at home, you better when you play at home, you better play to win. And you better play lights out because you're going to have more eyes on you than
Ebison, Wes Dalio, Cubic, and Joey Nisbet, the captains for Colleyville at midfield. The team about to run out, and Tramel Jeffers going to give us our keys to the game in just a moment as well. We're looking forward to that, to see what he thinks for keys to victory.
Starting with number 1, you have to limit Jayshun Gibson's impact. This is a dynamic running back. He stands at 5'9". He's 182 pounds. And he finished last week's game against Haltom with 179 total yards, 4 total touchdowns. He's going to be in the receiving game. He's going to be toting it on the ground. You have to keep your eyes on him and limit him in this game if you want to win. Also, number 2, you have to bring the heat on the quarterback. Last week, the Panthers did a wonderful job of getting pressure on Billy Middleton. It seemed like every drop back, he was getting flushed out of the pocket. It's going to have to be the same. They're going to have to get after the quarterback. And number 3, set the tone with the run game. This Panthers offense didn't really get the run game going last week against Red Oak. It is important for them to establish the run in this game because this North Richland Hills team, they struggle against the run. Last week, they almost gave up 300 rushing yards. They gave up 289 total rushing yards against Haltom. So if the Colleyville Heritage Panthers want to win this game, they have to tote the rock. Those are the keys to victory tonight.
Thanks, Tramel. Those keys to the game here on the pregame show for Panther Friday night on Tradio as the Royals run on out. They're across the way, and plenty fans made the short 20-minute drive here to Mustang Panther Stadium from North Richland Hills. And now the Panthers about to run out. It feels like a Friday night under the lights just an hour later as the Colleyville Heritage Panthers run on out. They look to make it a 1-1 record after tonight, while the Royals look to move to 2-0. Richland, a very formidable team. They've made back-to-back trips to the regional semifinals, but after losing 34 seniors last year, including their quarterback, they've still got another one back there in junior Brett Cates, his brother, the quarterback last year, and now Brett going to be the QB here this season, and he had a brilliant opening night as well, went 15 of 20 for 232 yards and 3 scores in the air, adding more damage and a score on the ground as well. And their 52-33 week 1 win at Haltom, while Colleyville lost 20-11 at Red Oak in their season opener. So Richland from 5A D1, a playoff team, a lot, and they're going to try to continue to do that. You heard from head coach Jerry Edwards, and he said you have to play playoff football teams in non-district if you want to be one, and so he enjoys these tests. Red Oak and then Richland, 2 squads that are ranked within the 5A circuit. Colleyville also wanting to be in that conversation and wanting to show a better performance tonight here in week 2. We pause for the anthem. Anthem is done, and we are set. Tremel Jeffers, Will Connerly with you. Panther Friday night on Tradio. Tremel, I know you just gave us our keys to the game, and we're getting an opportunity to finally kick this one off. If you're just joining us, well, about 90 minutes ago, some lightning was in the area around 6:30, and that's why this ball game isn't going to get kicked off until now, about 8:06 on the clock right now. So an hour and change delay, but we're finally getting ready for football here tonight, Tremel. An exciting scene, and shout out to the fans who waited. They had to leave, go to their cars, and come on out. And the stands really full on both sides, Tremel, for the home opener here for the Panthers.
Oh, you can't ask for a better – well, you can't ask for a better start to the home opener. The weather delay messed it up a little bit. But like you said, we're about to start. The fans did a fantastic job of waiting patiently. The fans on the broadcast, shout out to you guys. Thank you all for sticking with us throughout this long weather delay. We thank you all. And then the fans that were here in the stands that had to go take shelter and wait, we thank you all as well. And we are all excited for another great matchup here in week 2, the last non-district opponent until district play next week.
The Colony coming up next week. That'll be at home. They're 1-1. They've already played a couple of games, so you'd expect they'd be wanting to watch tonight, either live or here on the broadcast as well, to try to scout out what the 2025 Colleyville Heritage Panthers will look like this season. And let's be honest, we're all intrigued to see what they're going to look like here in week 2 after a 20-11 loss in week 1 at Red Oak. So just moments away from kickoff, both teams getting ready for action. And I know the fans, they have been chomping at the bit to get this one going. Alongside Tremel Jeffers in the booth, I'm Will Connerly, our entire Tradio team. Really excited to kick this one off here in just a matter of moments. Both teams getting ready for that action, and we shall see what will go on here. Now all the officials coming together. We had the coin toss. It looked like Colleyville was getting ready to receive the football here in just a moment, but maybe just trying to sort some last-minute things out. They had a 15-minute ramp-up. That's something because they came on out and had a 15-minute ramp-up opposed to whatever traditional warm-up they would get. I know they stretched out and did the normal things, but will that be a factor early on in this game, just trying to break into a ball game in maybe an unconventional way and certainly not the normal routine that you go through.
I think it could be an issue because, like you said, it's not the normal routine. But at the same time, this is only the second week of the season. So a lot of these players who are new to varsity, they really haven't gotten accustomed to the normal routine, you would say. So it might not be that bad for Colleyville.
One thing for Colleyville is they are getting to debut some new uniforms as well. White helmets, red jerseys, white numbers. Gerard Wiley and Chase Gibson back deep to return. The kick from Beck Spivey, who launched one last week, and their 52 points, 3 of them was a deep 43-yard field goal right before half. They ended up winning that game. And a short kickoff, they opt to not go deep, and this one's caught bouncing and turning the corner across the 35-yard line. There is Gabe Bess, the backup running back who just had 1 carry last week, gathering that one on special teams. And the short kick by Spivey, solid field position for Colleyville's opening drive.
And that was one thing that Coach spoke on from last week. Field position really killed us last week, and here we are now. We're starting at our own 38-yard line. Very decent field position. So far, good start.
So 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Bodie Weaver in the shotgun. The first-team all-district quarterback stands at 6'3". A quick hit to the outside, and across the 40-yard line goes Des Bryant. And a quick completion for Des Bryant, just 1 catch for 2 yards last week. And he gathers the first target of this game, something to talk about with no Samir Johnson in the lineup. Maybe Des Bryant Jr. gets more involved in the offense, and he's out there starting for the Panthers.
He's going to have a much bigger role in today's game, and that short pass right there should get him going.
Weaver with a handoff to Wiley. Good block up front, and Wiley putting his head down and getting right to the sticks. They'll move him forward, and a huge push up front. A big hole for Gerard Wiley, and he hit it for the first down gain.
Those short passes and those handoffs are going to make us have 2nd and short and 3rd and shorts. If we can just keep moving that ball, it is going to do wonders for this Panthers offense.
A 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Here on their opening drive, Bodie Weaver escapes some pressure, throws it toward the 40-yard line. Intended target was Trevi Prycia. Bodie Weaver took a hit at the end of that play. Mason Allison, the outside linebacker, in on the blitz, and it's a 2nd and 10.
That time the pressure got there on Bodie Weaver. He had to escape the pocket, threw the ball, got hit as he threw it, and the throw just came up a little short. If he had a little bit more time, he probably would have completed the pass.
So empty set for Colleyville. 5 out wide. Des Bryant at the bottom. Connor Supacase had a 47-yard touchdown reception as Gerard Wiley goes in motion. They get it out to him in the flat. He tries to bounce to the outside, gets across the 50-yard line, and right at midfield, Colleyville will have a 3rd down. So an early touch for Gerard Wiley as the first-team all-district tight end Blake Wendler comes in. But Wiley, after just 1 catch last week, a catch and a run already on this drive, setting up a 3rd down here for the Panthers. Right at midfield. The Royals show man coverage with Wendler in motion. Pocket moving right away. Bodie Weaver going to keep it himself on the ground. He tiptoes out of bounds just across the 45-yard line, and he's going to be a yard shy. Looks like a 4th and 1 in the works here for the Panthers. Bodie Weaver using his legs. He rushed for a career high last week, 93 on the ground.
Yeah, that time Bodie Weaver saw the blitz the entire time. Richland, they sent a secondary blitz. Bodie Weaver spotted it. He flushes out to the right, and he picks up decent yardage, and now we face a 4th and no, they moved the chains. First down.
No, it looks like it still is.
Is it still?
Still a 4th down.
Still a little
1.
short, yeah.
At least on the sticks on the far side, it says 4th down.
Yeah, it's got the 4.
And we have a timeout now being called here. So less than a minute into the ball game, Bodie Weaver had to get some tape on his left leg after he tiptoed out of bounds. He took a big hit on an incomplete pass on 2nd down, ran it himself on 3rd to make it 4th and short. And we'll step aside. 4th down coming up for the Panthers.
American Power. Texas Drive. Classic Chevrolet. #1 in the world. Limited time. A special selection of new Chevys. More than anyone. All priced below market value. Plus, pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
Back with you, Panther Friday night on Tradio. Texas Orthopedic sponsoring this first quarter. We thank them and this 4th and 1 from the 47-yard line for Colleyville. Bodie Weaver, a designed run. Big hole up the middle. Bodie Weaver staying on his feet. He gets down to the 25. And on 4th and 1, Bodie Weaver uses the wheels.
Oh, he's got wheels. We knew he had it the whole time. This is what you should expect to see from Bodie Weaver this season. He's going to use his legs a little bit more this season. He's got the wheels and a little shake and bake as well.
A designed quarterback run for Bodie Weaver. He had 93 on the ground, a career high last week, and now Gerard Wiley stopped up in the backfield. On the carry right there after the explosive run by Bodie Weaver. Weaver just had about 35 yards rushing a game last year. Again, goes for 92 in week 1. Looks like he'll be more involved in that rushing attack. As a flag was down on the play, it looked like a loss at the time, but it seems as though that's going to be washed away. And a foul against, or no, they do move the sticks back, and it's going to be Colleyville behind the sticks. Bodie Weaver throwing it to the near side. It's incomplete. Looking for Dez Bryant Jr. and broken up in the backfield. Secondary Paxton Weeks there, the junior free safety on the coverage.
Dez Bryant had his man beat just a little bit. Bodie Weaver should have got rid of it just a little bit earlier.
So it was a 3-yard loss on a Gerard Wiley rush that set up 2nd and 13. Colleyville then takes a shot to Dez Bryant. Seems as though he's going to be getting more work with Samir Johnson suffering an injury last week. With 4 out wide, a 3rd down for Colleyville. Weaver grabs the snap, but he gets sacked in the backfield, coming in and applying the hit. Gage Goodwin, the outside linebacker, brings the pressure. Bodie Weaver gets sacked. That'll push Colleyville out of field goal range and make it 4th and a mile.
That time on 3rd down, the Royals sent a blitz. It was man coverage. They sent the blitz. It got home, and they knocked the Panthers out of field goal range on that play.
So Colleyville needing to get to the 15-yard line. They're all the way backed up at the 40, and Bodie Weaver going to punt this one away. It drops down, and it's a beauty. It trickles back a little bit up to about the 7-yard line, but Bodie Weaver pinning the Royals deep as they'll have to drive the length of the field on their opening drive.
You always want to get points on every drive that you have, but that time we got knocked out of field goal. We got knocked out of field goal range, so now we have to play the field position game, and that's what Coach spoke about during the pregame interview. And here, the Royals are going to start with the ball inside the 10-yard line.
And the first play, a handoff out to Brooks. Joey Nisbet coming in on the tackle, combining with Hayden West as Aaron Brooks gets the first touch of the game. The receiver on the sweep to the outside picks up about 6.
That was not on my bingo card. I would have thought they would have handed the ball off to Gibson, but they handed off to the receiver. They pick up 5 yards there.
Jayshon Gibson standing next to the quarterback, Brett Cates. His first year as a starter, had 3 touchdowns last week. The son of head coach Jed Cates, and there is Jayshon Gibson bouncing to the outside before Hayden West comes in for his second tackle in as many plays to begin the ball game, but it's a first down.
That time he only picks up about 6 yards, but on that play he just showed you why he's so great and why he has 11 offers right now and why he has half of his offers at P4 schools. Looks like he was going to get tackled for a loss. He makes a jump cut, bounces to the outside, and picks up 6.
Cates taking a shot down the field, a wide open man. It is Aaron Brooks, and he's gone to the end zone. A huge touchdown for Richland, and they strike first.
And that time it was man coverage on the play. Will Hummer was in coverage. He got beat deep, and Richland goes up 6-0 on an explosive play.
Brett Cates was 15 for 20 last week for 232 yards and 3 touchdowns. Aaron Brooks had 6 catches for 106 yards. And right there, he picks up about 80 and a huge touchdown, single coverage. And the junior quarterback puts it right on the money, following in his footsteps of his brother. Now Brett Cates, the QB1 at Richland, and he puts them on the board first. It's 7-0. Richland has the lead. And now Colleyville looking to answer after they have the big touchdown.
Yeah, and Cates on that play, he just shows you why he's so accurate this season. He was 15 of 20 last week, and then this week he shows you with that deep pass, that 80-yard touchdown, his accuracy there. He displayed it on that play, and he's 1 for 1 for the game.
Well, step aside. It's Panther Friday night on Tradio.
Do you have a dream of having a pool and a backyard oasis? Well, it's time to talk to the professionals at J. Caldwell Custom Pools. From new construction to remodeling to service and maintenance, J. Caldwell Custom Pools is your custom pool builder and outdoor living design expert, serving you with 2 locations, Hudson Oaks and Fort Worth. Because life is too short for ordinary backyards. Dive in and find out more at jcaldwellcustompools.com.
We're back with you, Panther Friday night on Tradio. Not a great start for Colleyville. They have great field position on their opening drive. And they then pin Richland back inside their own 10-yard line. But Richland has no problem, only needing a few plays before they toss it all the way down the field for a big touchdown to Aaron Brooks. Gabe Bess gathers the kick again on the return. Bowen Blankenship is able to grab Bess, so Richland opting not to kick it deep to Gerard Wiley or Chase Gibson. And so Colleyville will take the football on offense for a second time, starting at the 26-yard line.
This drive, Colleyville is going to have to find a way to be balanced on offense. They're going to have to find a way to get some running things going, some passing going on. They're going to have to find a way to stay balanced and move the chains because you do not want to give that ball back to that offense who just hit you on a deep one.
So Bodie Weaver back to pass. He looks to the outside. Connor Supacasey gathers it right at the sticks. He's going to be a yard. No, they're going to move him forward and right for a first down. They're waving the chains forward for a second, then put the brakes, so it'll be 2nd and 1. A 9-yard pickup for Connor Supacasey.
And on that play, he just shows you his strong hands. Contested catch. He snags it, picks up 9.
Now Gerard Wiley on the carry. That'll be enough for a first down going right up the gut. And so Colleyville moving the chains after Richland needed just a couple runs and then a deep shot down the field to score, starting at their own 8. And Aaron Brooks, who had the first carry of the game, a 6-yard pickup for Jayshon Gibson, and then a 79-yard touchdown to follow. Now Bodie Weaver out to Des Bryant Jr., and it's in and out of his hands as he drops the pass for an incompletion for Bodie Weaver. And a drop by Des Bryant Jr. there after Colleyville picked up the first down. Looking to be more efficient, some more short and intermediate passes early in this game.
And that time he just took off before he had the ball in his hands and ended up dropping it.
Now Gerard Wiley. He gets stopped up at the backfield. Richland able to come in for the tackle for loss. In there first was Mason Allison once again, the linebacker penetrating through for a second time tonight, and it'll put Colleyville in a challenging 3rd and long.
Yeah, these are the type of situations that Colleyville wants to avoid. You really want to avoid the 3rd and longs, the 3rd and 10s, the 3rd and 9s. You want to keep getting positive yards on every play, and that drop on first down kind of hurt them.
So 3rd down for Colleyville, 12 yards to go. It's a screen out to Gerard Wiley, and he pushes forward. He picks up about 4 yards, but that'll set up 4th and about 8. And so Richland leading 7-0, getting the ball back after they just had a 3-play, 93-yard drive that took really no time off the clock. They had a 8-yard run, then a 6-yard run, and then a 79-yard pass from Brett Cates to Aaron Brooks. And now Colleyville will have to punt after the 4-yard gain. Landon Dressel kicks this one away, and it rolls inside the 15-yard line. And so another long field for Richland, and Colleyville back out on defense as the offense unable to put points on the board in their first 2 drives, and the defense right back out there. After Richland, again, they only needed 3 plays to go 93 yards. Of course, the big chunk coming at the end with a 79-yard touchdown to Aaron Brooks, who had 644 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns last year, the lead returning wideout for this team. Another look to Brooks, catches it right by the sideline before 3 Panthers bring him down. Hayden West, Joey Nisbet were there, along with Camden Blackson, to eventually wrestle down Brooks after a couple-yard gain.
He's going to get a lot of looks this game. He made the all-district team last year. As you mentioned, he had 644 receiving yards.
Cates throws it, and it's intercepted by Colleyville. Running this one back for the Panthers is Chase Gibson. Gibson gets inside the 5-yard line, and a big play for the Colleyville D as they intercept Brett Cates, dropping back to pass, and they'll have a short field. Chase Gibson with the INT.
Last drive, I was speaking on how accurate Cates was, but not on that play. He overshot his receiver. Gibson intercepts the ball, and he returns it inside the Richland Hills 5-yard line. And we have great field position. We can punch this thing in and tie the ball game up.
So the Colleyville offense back out after the turnover, only needing 4 yards to score. It's a 1st and goal. Weaver back to Gerard Wiley, untouched into the end zone, but there's a flag down. So holding on the offense will push things back after Gerard Wiley looked to be in the end zone. A holding call will make things more difficult for the Panthers. It was a 25-yard interception return by Chase Gibson. And after being at the 4-yard line, Colleyville backed up to the 14 after the holding call. I believe that was Blake Wendler on the hold.
Yeah, they called it on Blake Wendler.
The first team all-district tight end. So Colleyville with a first and goal, albeit from the 14. Wendler in motion, another handoff to Gerard Wiley, stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
That time it just wasn't anywhere for Wiley to go. The defensive line for the Royals did a really good job of stopping him and just not allowing this offensive line to create any holes.
Isaiah Omar checking in at right tackle, one of their top defensive linemen, in now at right tackle. Standing next to Chandler Sampson at right guard. And Bodie Weaver. Quick hit to Gerard Wiley on the second drop of the night by the Panthers. In and out of the hands of the running back will make it third down.
And that's another crucial drop on second down, because if Wiley catches that ball, all he had to do was make one man miss. And I love his chances one-on-one in open space to make his defender miss. He probably takes that to the house.
And so Colleyville thought a touchdown was on the board after Chase Gibson returns an interception to the 4-yard line. Wiley goes in untouched. A holding call backs him up to the 14. Wiley gets stuffed, then drops a pass. And now it's third and goal from the 14. Bodie Weaver looking end zone towards Des Bryant, in and out of his hands. Good coverage in the secondary by Richland. And that sets up fourth and goal for the Panthers. There in the secondary, J.D. Carrasquillo. And it's a field goal try. It'll be about a 31-yard try here for Landon Tressel to try to put points on the board for the Panthers.
Great coverage by J.D. Carrasquillo on that play. Des Bryant gave him a fake inside, and then he faded to the outside, and he came back, and he broke the pass up.
Dressel splits the uprights. It's true from 31. The Panthers on the board. It's a 7-3 score here at Mustang Panther Stadium in the opening quarter. 4:39 to go. We will step aside and be right back. It's Panther Friday night on Trading.
Columbus Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
We're back with you. Panther Friday night on Tradio. An interception turns into points as Richland quarterback Brett Cates threw it into the hands of Chase Gibson. And Chase Gibson, the cornerback, returns it 25 yards to the Royals' 4-yard line. And Colleyville ultimately putting points on the board. Dressel, after his 31-yard field goal was converted, boots it out of the back of the end zone for a touchback, and now Richland will have it for a third time. First drive, 3 plays, 93 yards, a 79-yard touchdown, and then 2 plays. Last drive, and the second, of course, turning it over. And so the Royals will get the ball for a third time in a 7-3 ball game with 4 and change left in this opening quarter.
And they're starting with their best field position of the game. They get the start at their own 25, which isn't great, but it's the best of the night.
And bursting through the hole, Jayshon Gibson, the 5'9", 182-pound junior running back, picks up 10 and moves the chains. Going right back to Gibson and breaks multiple tackles. He still picks up a couple of yards, albeit you thought you had him beat. Will Hummer in to try to clean that one up, but Gibson mentioned the prospect that he is. Many Power 4 offers, multiple across the Big 12. Throw over the middle. That is complete and breaking away for a big gain. Theo Gray, the senior wideout. His first catch of the season after he had a couple of kick returns last week. And Theo Gray, the senior receiver, gets Richland inside Colleyville's 40-yard line. They want to go quick. Looking down the field once again, and it's incomplete. Multiple flags fly as they are trying to take the top off the defense, and pretty clear. A couple of flags come down. It looks like Will Hummer is going to be called for pass interference as they looked for Benjamin Sanders down the field.
Yeah, they're looking for those explosive plays. They're pushing the tempo. As soon as the play ends, they're getting right back to the line of scrimmage. They're snapping the ball, and they're ready to go. That time, they hit us with a deep pass, and unfortunately, Colleyville gets hit with a pass interference. And now they're going to call a defensive holding.
So automatic first down either way, a 7-3 score in Richland driving. Jayshon Gibson started the drive off with a first down rush, and they've continued to move it down the field, being helped by the penalty. Gibson now going in motion, and a quick hit. It's in and out of the hands. That's Chase Gibson actually breaking that one up. It was in the hands for a moment of Marvin Hodge, and Chase Gibson comes in to break that one up.
And Marvin Hodge, his traditional position is a defensive back. That time he showed you why his traditional position is a defensive back. But if he caught that ball, he would have been gone. Great pass breakup because he saved the touchdown on that play.
Just a freshman as well, 5'11", 160. Jayshon Gibson rushing again, breaking through tackles before he is eventually dropped by Isaiah Haynes. That'll set up a critical third down. Richland going quick, no huddle. Now they look to the sideline. Third down for the Royals. With about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, and it's Jayshon Gibson who stopped at the 20-yard line. That'll set up a 4th and 2. Trying to stuff the elusive running back who went for 132 yards on the ground last week. Averaged over 9 yards a carry. He had 4 total touchdowns, known to be best friends with the quarterback, Brett Cates, and certainly was an understudy of Michael Turner, the 5-star prospect in the backfield last year. Big 4th down. Looks like Colleyville comes up with the stuff, and they stop it. Joey Nisbet in there with the defensive line, Demarius Logan creating a lane, and it's Richland who turns it over on downs after throwing an interception on their second drive, a turnover on downs on drive number 3, and Colleyville gets the ball back.
The Panthers gave him nowhere to run. There was no lane for him to go through. Great pursuit by Joey Nisbet and Demarius Logan, forcing another turnover for the Royals. And just a couple of plays ago, the Royals marched down the field with chunk plays, 50 yards down the field, and then next thing you know, they're stuffed on a 4th down.
1st and 10 for Colleyville. Wendler in motion. Panthers from their own 20, and Bodie Weaver wants a shot down the field. This one's hauled in. What a grab there by Lucas Sunwall, the sophomore wideout, with an explosive play for the Panthers.
We talked about this wide receiver core last week, and they are starting to come alive here in week 2. What a grab and what a throw by Bodie Weaver, showing his mobility and showing his ability to throw the ball on the run.
A huge gain for the Panthers after the defense comes up with a big stop on 4th down. Weaver gets rid of it quickly. Connor Supacasey, good block by Trevi Prysha out on the edge. And it's a decent gain on 1st down as the Panthers move up to the Royals' 38.
Those short passes are going to be very beneficial because, one, they keep the ball moving. They're going to add up. And it's eventually going to open up something deep, which we just saw on the previous play.
So Bodie Weaver and company moving in Royals territory, 7-3. The Panthers trail, and the snap is low, down on the ground. And a flag was down. That's what Bodie Weaver was signaling toward the sideline. Gerard Wiley tried to jump on the pigskin as well. But a penalty against Richland.
Which explains, I think it was encroachment, which explains why the snap was fumbled. Bodie Weaver wasn't expecting it. He was expecting the penalty to be called, which ended up happening, and we get to move up 5 yards.
Makes it 2nd and short. Just about 90 seconds left in this opening quarter. Bodie Weaver, time in the pocket, lets one fly to the end zone. An open Lucas Sunwall, but out of his reach.
Yeah, out of his reach. His progress was impeded a little bit. I would have liked to see a flag thrown on that play, but he's not arguing it, so must have hadn't been anything there.
So 3rd and short here for the Panthers. Minute 27 left in the opening quarter. Snap dropped in the backfield. Bodie Weaver has to pick it up, breaks a tackle, continues to stay on his feet. An interesting play that results in a 1st down.
Woo! Bodie Weaver showing some juking ability and showing his, oh my goodness, he shows that he's elusive and that he has some moves to his arsenal. What a play. He made something out of nothing. It looked like we were going to lose a big chunk of yards and be forced to punt the football, but Bodie Weaver picks the ball up, makes a couple of juke moves, and he picks up the 1st down.
The snap down in the backfield, but QB1, Bodie Weaver picking it up and getting the job done for the 1st down. So 1st and 10 for Colleyville. Inside the Royals 30, ton of pressure comes, single coverage down the field. Lucas Sunwall out of his reach. The Royals brought the house there, single coverage all over the field. Bodie Weaver recognized it, but couldn't get it to his sophomore wideout.
Yeah, they brought the house that time. He knew the blitz was coming. He had to go with his first read. He went the safe route, gave his receiver a chance. It was just a little bit too high and went through the hands of the receiver.
Connor Supacasey, Trevi Prysha, Lucas Sunwall, the wideouts. Blake Wendler, Gerard Wiley in the backfield. As Wendler bunches up right next to the right tackle, Isaiah Omar now comes in motion across the offensive line. Bodie Weaver for a designed run and just grabs a couple, setting up another critical 3rd down here for the Panthers.
And I think here they're probably just going to let the clock run out. They probably won't run another play this quarter, and they'll return in the 2nd.
So 1st quarter comes to a close, 7-3. Richland has the lead. Two teams will switch sides. Colleyville with a critical 3rd down when we come back.
For you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
what makes a biscuit a Bo biscuit? There it is. Small batch biscuits, just minutes from the oven, with crunchy hand-breaded chicken. Now you know. The Carolina legend is here. If you know, you Bo.
We're back with you here for the start of quarter number 2. Third down for Colleyville. Bodie Weaver looking deep and has a man. What a grab! It's a touchdown for the Panthers. My, oh my, an acrobatic catch for the sophomore Lucas Sumwall.
What a snag by Lucas Sumwall. We talked about him in the offseason, how excited we were to see him. He was a star on junior varsity last year, and now he's getting his opportunity to shine here on varsity as a sophomore. What a grab, and now the Panthers are up, and they have a 9-7 lead.
Colleyville for the point after. Landon Dressel getting set up. Hummer to hold. They look to make it a 10-7 lead. Kick is up, splits the uprights, and Colleyville strikes first on the first play of the second quarter. 10-7. They have the lead. Lucas Sumwall making moves right there. A brilliant catch for the sophomore wide receiver as Richland started the game, forcing Colleyville to punt. After their opening drive, they punch it in 3 plays for a score, a 79-yard touchdown. Colleyville comes back, gives Richland the ball right back because they punt after that, but then force an interception. It gives Colleyville the ball at the Royals' 4-yard line. Felt like a missed opportunity at the time with 1st and goal from the 4. They settled for a field goal because a holding call wiped away a touchdown. That at the time made it 7-3 with Colleyville converting on the field goal from Landon Dressel from 31 yards out. Then Colleyville, a huge stop after Richland put together a 9-play, 55-yard drive with a couple of really nice plays. They turned it over on downs at the Panthers 20, and then Colleyville responded with their best drive of the season so far. 9 plays, 80 yards, and they punch it in on the first play of the second quarter as it was a 26-yard connection to Lucas Sumwall. Looked like it was well out of his reach, but he goes in to make the brilliant grab, and Colleyville leads 10-7.
And we're slowly starting to see that chemistry build with Bodie Weaver and his receivers. And Coach mentioned it in the pregame. It was just pregame jitters last week. Now they're starting to make some connections.
Short kickoff is fielded by Theo Gray, who made a nice reception on the Royals' first drive, and it has them start just out in front of the 40-yard line. So decent field position for Richland as they get the football. Now for a 4th time. They had a 3-play, 93-yard drive, helped by a 79-yard bomb down the field. But then an interception and turnover on downs on their next 2. Here's drive number 4, and it starts with a run here to Jashawn Gibson. He's tackled by Joey Nisbet. Isaiah Haynes comes in, as it certainly feels like every level of the defense tonight is going to have to assist in bringing down Jashawn Gibson. One of the keys of the game is trying to slow down the explosive back, number 1 in white for Richland.
Absolutely. Every time it looks like you have him pursued and have him for a loss, he falls forward and picks up some more yards.
Now Gibson looking to turn a corner, and he does get up to about the 45-yard line, but a flag comes in on the play. Looks like we're going to get a hold, potentially illegal block in the back here. There on the misdirection. Illegal blindside block there, the call. Benjamin Sanders getting called for it as Gibson was trying to turn the corner there and burst up the field. They are creative in the way that they get him the ball. Some misdirections in the backfield. He's gone in motion a couple of times. He also is super explosive in the way that he can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. He had a couple of touchdowns receiving last week as well. Jayshon Gibson, 4 total, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. But this is a legal blindside block by Benjamin Sanders that makes it 2nd and long. So we'll see if Colleyville can take advantage of the favorable down and distance from the defensive perspective.
Yeah, and all eyes need to be on him, especially for the explosive plays as he runs a route right here, a wheel route, and he snags it right there.
Wheel route for Gibson, and he's untouched into the end zone. Talking about his ability out of the backfield, 2nd and 20 was no problem for Richland. A wheel route, as you called. He caught it, and all he saw was green in front of him. A huge touchdown for Richland. After he put 4 on the board last week, another massive TD for the Royals. The explosive touchdowns coming in bunches, and Richland, a 68-yard touchdown to Jayshon Gibson after they had a 79-yard touchdown on the opening drive. The wheel route, and he was wide open on the sideline for the touchdown. So Panthers trail 14-10 after the converted point after.
Yeah, you're going to have to bring some extra attention on him. You can't leave him single covered. He's a threat when it comes to running the football, and he's even more dynamic catching the football out of the backfield. He's got 6 total touchdowns on the season, 3 rushing and now 3 receiving. He shows you he's very versatile, and he can do it both ways.
So Colleyville getting back on the field now, and we give you a look at what they're rocking with up front. Wes Dalio-Cubic, the senior, committed to UTEP, along with the quarterback Bodie Weaver, Gavin Cornwell, Hayes Patterson, Chandler Sampson, Muhannad Ramadan, also Isaiah Omar getting some work in at right tackle early on. Trevi Prycia, Connor Supacase, Landon Dressel really should probably change that to number 18, Lucas Sunwall, getting a lot of the reps after Des Bryant looked like he started out there first tonight as well. The 2 sophomores trying to fill in for Samir Johnson, who was the lead returning receiver on this team, who went out with injury last week against Red Oak. But for Colleyville, they trail 14-10. They've led up 2 massive touchdowns tonight. Jayshon Gibson just went for 68 yards. And then it was Aaron Brooks earlier in the game. He went for 79 yards. So 2 big-time TDs. Gibson on the wheel route. Just as we are talking about his dynamic ability and his ability to run the football, and he has done that at a pretty high level so far tonight. 7 carries for 33 yards. And the first time he catches the ball, it goes for 68 yards and a score. So he already approaching the century mark on the evening and a touchdown. We're just in the first half. So Jayshon Gibson, somebody that Colleyville on defense will want to slow down. But if you're Richland, Lucas Sunwall putting together a quality game so far as well. Bodie Weaver, 6 for 13 for 86 yards. 65 of those have gone to Lucas Sunwall. He has a pair of catches tonight and a touchdown. So Bodie Weaver back to it, and again right away looking for Lucas Sunwall, and a contested catch on the slant picks up 10.
A nice slant route by Lucas Sunwall. It was well covered, but he showed you those strong hands there, and he keeps those chains moving.
Right in the hot hand, Lucas Sunwall, 3 catches for 75 yards, and Colleyville picks up a first down. Reminder that Colleyville losing 20-11 last week, already putting 10 points up on the board and appearing to be moving. Gerard Wiley breaking to the outside, makes a man miss, corkscrews across the 45, and a really shifty play made there by the junior running back.
showing you his arsenal of moves. And then you saw on that last move, he hits the circle button and hits a nice spin move.
It does move the chains along for Colleyville. Bodie Weaver, 5 carries for 20 yards tonight. Gerard Wiley really has had no room tonight until right there. You see getting the ball in space, and he does some good work with it. So a 1st and 10 for Colleyville. Under 10 minutes to go in quarter number 2. Wiley goes in motion, but a flag flies from the secondary. Colleyville didn't get the snap off in time, and a delay of game backs them up 5. So Lucas Sunwall keeping an eye on number 18 in red. The sophomore wide receiver just had 2 catches for 7 yards last week. He's got 3 for 75 right now. Bodie Weaver keeps it himself, breaks a tackle, continues to move across the 50, and Bodie Weaver's best weapon through a game and a half this season has been his legs. He continues to move it forward.
That's what we wanted to see this offseason. We wanted to see him grow in the rushing game, showing that ability that he can run and showing that ability that he can ground and pound, man. And you see it there. He's displayed it so far this season, not just this season, but this game and this season.
And it really gives you more confidence. Of course, these designed runs, great for field position, but also he's shown the ability in this game, too, to freelance outside the pocket. He hits Lucas Sunwall on the sideline a couple of drives ago, and it feels like those two are starting to develop really good chemistry. He's hit him 3 times in this game. One, of course, for that 26-yard touchdown. And Bodie Weaver stand on schedule for this offense with that 1st down gain, 2nd down now for the Panthers. And Bodie Weaver running again, breaks up the middle, and he picks up a 1st down up to the 40-yard line. And that is really interesting. With all the blitzes coming off the edge, Bodie Weaver immediately recognizing it with the 4-man front. They spread him out with 4 receivers out wide. That middle is open, and Bodie Weaver's taking advantage of it.
He's recognizing it every single time. He takes the open path and the A and the B gaps, and he picks up that 1st down on that play.
So Weaver for a 1st and 10, handoff to Gerard Wiley, and this play blown up. Wiley somehow gets back to the line of scrimmage after looked like he was dead to rights by Gage Goodwin, and it somehow is a gain of a yard there, Trammell.
Yeah, loss of 5 turned into a gain of 1. Hey, keeping that offense on schedule and keeping the defense honest.
So Trevi Prysha, Lucas Sunwall toward the top of your screen. Connor Supacasey, who had the best day receiving, 3 catches for 86 yards, including a 47-yard touchdown in week 1. And look here for Supacasey down the field. It's incomplete. Had single coverage, and the coverage there by Jackson Walker, and it's incomplete.
Good move by Supacasey, but great comeback by the defensive back. He got back just in time and broke that play up. He was beat on the play. He got back. He broke it up.
So 3rd down for Colleyville. They take the shot to Connor Supacasey. One thing we have noticed is a lot of single coverage across the way. They want to load the box and try to slow down Bodie Weaver. The legs have been great. 3rd down, maybe an opportunity to see what this pass rush will do. They just send 4, and they send it out in the flat here to Gerard Wiley. Breaks a tackle, cuts up the field across the 30, spins again. Gerard Wiley continues to go and put the ball in his hands. It's a 1st down for the Panthers.
You get him the ball in space. Gerard Wiley gets that ball in space. He can make great things happen. He's showing you there with the jukes, the spins. He's got a lot of moves in his arsenal. Just get him the ball in space. He's going to pick up that 1st down.
Gerard Wiley's been stopped trying to run the ball out of the backfield, but making plays when it's in his hands. catching the ball out of the backfield, and a huge play right there, and maybe a free play here for Colleyville. Richland jumped off. They throw toward the end zone, and it's incomplete. Supakezi couldn't haul it in, but it surely looked like it's going to be +5 for Colleyville as Richland jumped off, and Weaver wisely recognizing that and trying to take a shot down the field.
Certainly +5. Bodie Weaver recognized the defense jumped off sides. He tries to get his free play in, give his offense a chance to get 6. Didn't go that way, but we'll pick up the 5 yards and chains move.
Well, Trammell, we told the fans in the hour-plus delay a fun matchup was coming your way tonight. I think that's what we've seen so far, 1st and 5. This is Colleyville down 4. Bodie Weaver, tons of pressure comes, still single coverage in the end zone, in and out of the hands of Trevi Preicha. Good coverage there by the Royals. It's Paxton Weeks, the defensive back, on the coverage of Trevi Preicha.
Paxton Weeks, he got there just in time as the ball was being delivered in Preicha's hands, knocks it out, breaks up the pass. Great pursuit, way to recover after getting beat.
So Lucas Sumwall and Connor Supakezi, the receivers, split to either side. 3 now in the backfield for Colleyville. And Bodie Weaver rolling out. And he'll pop it out to Blake Wendler, running up the sideline. Wendler putting his head down right by the pylon. And now the official's talking, Trammell.
I think he got in, and he did.
And he did indeed. Despite a delayed call, Trammell Jeffers thought he got in. The officials say the same thing. And the first team all-district TE, Blake Wendler, running up the sideline, paying a price toward the pylon. But it's a good price to pay because the Panthers take the lead.
And great disguise by Wendler on that play. He acted as if he was going to block. He sheds out to the right. He's wide open in the flat, and he just takes it to the house.
The PAT, no good for the Panthers, so it is just a 2-point lead for Colleyville as they miss the extra point. It goes wide left, but it's 16-14. Blake Wendler into the end zone, 17 yards. It was interesting because he is a big guy and had a couple of big-time touchdowns within district play a year ago, and the officials there by the pylon waited a moment before they decided that he indeed got into the end zone. And then as soon as you said, I think he got in, officials saying the same thing as he went right by the pylon.
Yeah, and if you watched the spring game last year, he was a big part of their offense in the red zone, whether it was handoffs or plays like that where he just rolls out in the flat. He's going to be a big contributor in the red zone for this Panthers offense, and I'm so excited to see what else he's going to do.
Yeah, for Blake Wendler, a senior tight end, 6'3", 225, big body. Again, we mentioned first team all-district. He did a lot in the run blocking game, and it wasn't until week 5 later on in the year they had Braden Blewett go down. They were looking for more weapons, and he started to get more involved in the passing game. He obviously, another tight end, Luke Graves, on the team last year, so now he's stepping into that role as well, and perhaps even larger, and that seems like a great option for a quarterback to be able to have all the guys on the perimeter, and then Blake Wendler as well, who picks up the 17-yard touchdown. Big, big, big answer by Colleyville right there. And it is a 16-14 lead for the Panthers. And they respond despite Richland showing that they have no problem exploding for big plays. It was Jayshon Gibson for 68 yards last time Richland came out. They have had a couple of massive touchdowns, 68 and 79 yards for their 2 scores, but they get the ball back. 6:48 to go in the second quarter, and just trying to run in between the tackles, and 3-yard gain. You'll take that if you are Colleyville trying to bottle up Jayshon Gibson.
You will, especially after all the explosive plays that he's had. So, yeah, you'll definitely take 3 yards as they go no huddle here.
Cates looking to fire one. It's deflected at the line of scrimmage, and pressure coming up front. Isaiah Omar was right in front of the face of Cates, believing he got the hand on that. And the quick no huddle turns into an incomplete pass and now a third down.
Big play right here on third down for this Panthers defense. Let's see if they can get the Royals off the field and try to double dip before halftime.
Big third down awaiting Richland. Cates picks up the snap, steps up, eyes still downfield. Now he wants to run, breaks multiple tackles before Hayden West eventually wrestles him down. And Cates showing a little bit of what Bodie Weaver does in breaking tackles as the quarterback. It is going to be fourth down, though, and a yard to go.
He's definitely been observant since he's been on the sideline for sure. But that play, he saw the pocket collapsed. He took off, and he tried his best to pick up that first down with his strength. But he's just a little bit short. Great pursuit and great hold by this Panthers defense.
So fourth down. And it's interesting decision here. You're backed up. Richland did execute a brilliant trick play last year, and it looks like they were opting to try to do that again as they snap the ball. The play doesn't count because looks like a flag flied, but Jayshon Gibson got the initial snap. Now they back him up, but Richland did execute last year a fake punt to perfection against Colleyville. I don't know if they will try that here, and they don't. They get it off, and it rolls in a friendly way for Richland up right around the 28-yard line while Colleyville will take over. So the Panthers set to get the ball back, and like you said, perhaps double dip. 5:06 to go, leading 16-14. And so far tonight, what have you liked about this Colleyville offense already eclipsing what they did in week one on the scoreboard?
Just the balance. We talked about that earlier to start the game. They're getting some things going in the run game. They're getting those short passes going with the running backs, with the receivers, and it opens up the deep passes.
And recognizing the blitz, it's Connor Supacasey up to the 50-yard line. Bodie Weaver picking up the blitzes tonight. He's facing more heat than he did a week ago, but handling it well, getting the ball out quick, taking the heat in the pocket, and Connor Supacasey up to midfield.
A lot more single coverage in this game. Bodie Weaver recognizes it. He hits his first read, and it's open most of the times.
Jerry Edwards was very confident about all these weapons, and now they're on display with all this single coverage here in the game tonight. And handoff to Gabe Bass, just his second carry of the year. Stop made in by Hunter Yost. Name that was called a ton last week. He had 19 tackles in their first game of the season, when they put over 50 points on the board and Richland won against Haltom in dominant fashion, 52-33.
Monster game. 19 tackles on any level is insane. Collegiate, pros, high school, doesn't matter.
Weaver quickly looking toward the sideline. He was looking for Gerard Wiley, but the pressure came quickly.
Yeah, he wanted to hit Gerard Wiley right there in the flats. It was never open, and he just had to throw it away because the pressure was right there.
Facing a lot of pressure. I mean, the pressure came to Bodie Weaver last week, but it felt like the pass protection was great for him. Now, okay, what are you going to do when they bring the whole house? Well, you're going to get rid of it quickly, and he's recognized that. A lot of single coverage. You wonder, again, everybody coming. Bodie Weaver down the field. Landon Dressel makes the catch. And as Richland brings the house on 3rd and long, Bodie Weaver executing, and he finds another man, Landon Dressel. He had a big catch last week toward the end of the game for 20 yards. He makes the grab right there.
Hey, if they're going to keep sending the house, just make them pay every time, and that is exactly what Bodie Weaver is doing.
Weaver with a designed run. And picks up a good gain, about 5 on the first down. And it's interesting, too, because the secondary is one area where Richland did lose a lot from a year ago. Return, of course, Gibson, who ended up being the bell cow for them last year in the backfield after Turner went down and then went on to play for Baylor, learning under somebody great. But the secondary is one area. They lost 34 seniors from a 10-win team a year ago. Was where they really got depleted by graduation. Bodie Weaver rolling out, throws it, and right around the 25-yard line, it's Lucas Sunwall coming through once again. He has made some big-time catches in the sophomore once again.
He has. This entire receiving core is just taking their turns of catching the football and making big plays. I'm loving what I'm seeing from this unit, and this is what we were so excited about going into the season.
Connor Supacasey, Trevi Preicia, Lucas Sunwall, Des Bryant Jr., Landon Dressel, and now Wendler involved in the mix along with Gerard Wiley catching some big passes tonight. And now Weaver, wide open man, is Preicia. He stepped out of bounds, so the officials' hats go flying. He didn't haul it in either way. But nice design right there. Didn't get executed, but creative way to try to get the ball in the hands of Trevi Preicia right there.
Oh, that was a beautiful play call, a beautiful design like you mentioned. It just wasn't executed well enough. And now we're looking at a 2nd and long.
So it's Dressel, Supacasey to the near side, Sunwall up top, and Gerard Wiley on the rush. And he's stopped up. Big beef up front and making the tackle there. Brian Moreno, an all-district guy on them off for the offensive line, but makes a play up front on the defensive line as well, getting in there to make it 3rd and long.
Showing he can play both sides of the ball.
Isaiah Omar for Colleyville doing the same. And it's the 2-minute warning. 16-14, Colleyville with the football, a 3rd and long when we come back.
FDIC, equal housing lender, all accounts subject to approval.
Back with you here at Mustang Panther Stadium. Colleyville leading 16-14. 2 minutes left in this first half, excuse me. Weaver out to Gerard Wiley, in and out of his hands. The 3rd drop tonight by Colleyville receivers. We saw that in week 1 as well. Some drops, and now it's a 4th down, and Colleyville with 4th and about 12, 1:55 to go.
That's the 3rd drop of the game, and all 3 drops have been the running back or the receiver trying to run without having the ball yet.
Short, too, and uncontested as well. Just easy. Typically, you call those layups, right?
Yeah.
Short passes. And so, and the interesting thing about it is we've talked so much about this receiving core being great, and they have been, and they've made some great catches. The catch Lucas Sunwall made in this game was unbelievable.
Fantastic.
And so, give and take with that, but Colleyville pushing it. 4th and long. Bodie Weaver stepping up in the pocket, throws it out, and that one is caught into the end zone. Gabe Bess for the touchdown.
And he shows his Jay Sean Gibson impression there. Getting that wheel route in the backfield, catches a touchdown, and he puts us up double digits.
4th and 11. Colleyville didn't even have to think twice. They were going for it. Tough area of the field really to do anything else. You're in borderline range, really not. What are you going to punt from that close? 4th and 11. They've been great on 3rd and long because of the blitz. That was different. They didn't bring the house. Bodie Weaver still had to evade pressure. Freelance as the PAT is good by Dressel. And then he finds Gabe Bess, a guy who's had 2 carries this year. First catch of his career on varsity. And it goes for a score. And Colleyville leads 23-14 as Bodie Weaver extends the play and finds Gabe Bess. Gabe Bess doing work there. The junior running back is along back there with Gerard Wiley, and he does haul it. And it looks like they got a couple of backs back there that can make some plays. It was a 28-yard touchdown to Gabriel Bess.
Yeah, we call that no man's land where they were. On 4th and 12, you're at your own 28-yard line. Do you really want to punt the ball there? No, that's not punting territory. You got to go for it, even if you don't pick it up. It's not bad field position if you give the ball back to the opposing team. But they took the gamble, and they struck gold on that play. And now we have a 23-14 lead. Great execution on that drive again, and they are really starting to click on the offensive side.
They really are, and especially doing it against a team where you feel like a lot of points are going to be needed tonight to beat this Richland team. Lightning in a bottle all across the field. Brett Cates has fired a touchdown of 79 yards to Aaron Brooks. Jay-Sean Gibson, their dynamic running back, has gone for 68 yards, but Colleyville driving it down. They face 4th and 12 from the 28. And instead of trying what would have been a long 45-yarder, perhaps missing a PAT, went into the decision to do that as well. But it really didn't even seem like there was a decision. It came on the other side of the 2-minute timeout as well. So perhaps going into that decision was we are going to beat. We're 4-down territory. And Gabe Bess showcasing what he can do. And talking with Jerry Edwards before the season started, Coach, excited for the season. Bodie's back. Gerard's back. Samir's back now, who's now got hurt in week 1. And one thing he brought up pretty quickly on the list, he was very excited about Connor Supacase, Lucas Sumwall. He went down the list. But he said Gabe Bess, they're expecting big things out of him this year. And he does some big things right there. So Will Kennedy coming in, another guy rotating in on the defensive line, coming in to make a tackle with about 1:35 to go. This is danger territory because Richland has not needed much time on their 2 scoring drives, 3 plays and 4 plays. So with 1:25 to go in the first half, they're trying to eliminate the big play ability. Cates drops back, throws it far side, and a flag flies. It's going to be pass interference against the Panthers. Did not have a ton of penalties last week, but Panthers getting bit by some there in a tough situation for the outside linebacker, Camden Blackson, to try to have coverage on the perimeter, and pass interference, the clear call.
Yeah, it's always going to be tough for a linebacker to cover on the boundaries. Very difficult, and he picks up the pass interference penalty.
Snap goes down on the turf. Cates just has to step up and make something out of it. The pursuit comes and eventually wrapped up. Good job by Colleyville to stay with that and recognize the play was broken up with the snap going down. Camden Blackson, who had 2.5 tackles for loss 1 week ago, was right there to stop Cates.
Yep, a fumble snap on that play. It was nothing else that they could really do. He tried to make something out of nothing. Nothing was there. And he's just fortunate that they were able to get back on that ball before the Panthers defense was able to pursue it.
So timeout is called. It's 2nd down, 67 seconds to go in this second quarter. What a great crowd we have tonight here at Mustang Panther Stadium. They have come out in full force in support of Colleyville. And if you tuned into this broadcast, 23-14, great game, and you're wondering, why is the game only in the second quarter? Well, we had an hour delay. So we got started after 8 o'clock this evening with lightning in the area stopping things. So 2nd and 13, Cates in the gun, Gibson right next to him. Trips here to the near side. Cates, looking far side. Up top, he wants to take a shot. Not on the same page with Theo Gray. It's incomplete.
Yeah, that time Theo Gray actually had the leverage on his defender. But Cates and his receiver were not on the same page there. And now 2nd and 10. Or third down,
Third and 13.
3rd and 13.
After the bad snap, Blackson coming in to make a great play. And then the incomplete to Gray. So Colleyville, see if they can get a stop here on 3rd and long. Cates looking over the middle again. It's incomplete. They are looking for the big tight end over the middle, but coverage coming for Colleyville. And it's incomplete. Brady Blankenship, the sophomore over the middle, unable to haul that one in.
And that time, Isaiah Omar all over the quarterback. Hits the quarterback, gets the pressure, hits the quarterback, and forces the incomplete pass. And now, what I love to call double dipping, the Panthers get an opportunity to do it. They just scored on their last possession. Now there's 56 seconds left. They have another opportunity to get some points before the half.
And Richland wants to call a timeout. Will Hummer was back deep to return. It says that each team has all 3 timeouts. We went through that last week, and understanding that 2-minute timeout, for those that don't know, new rule in high school football this year. Richland just clearly took a timeout. And so there's, in our scoreboard here on Tradio, picks up the information directly that's on the scoreboard in the stadium. So Richland says they have 3 timeouts, but they did indeed just burn one. So that's something that, of course, we're at the disposal of who is in the scoreboard room, and just wanted to communicate that to you. Obviously, a huge aspect of the game, knowing how many timeouts people have, and we will be keeping track of that for you as well here so we can communicate it. So the punt is up and off, and it hits down around the 45-yard line and trickles all the way back toward the 25-yard line, a little bit out in front of it. 48 seconds left. What can Colleyville do? We shall see what they'll try to do. You would think they'll try to take some deep shots down the field and see if they can't continue to put together what has been a great first half for the offense. After week 1, just scoring 11 points, questions about what this offense was doing, especially in the efficiency department. But they have sustained drives. Now, Richland, they've had some explosive plays, 2 touchdowns. They haven't sustained drives. Colleyville's defense, all in all, aside from a couple of explosive plays, has played great. Colleyville has really sustained some drives, and Gerard Wiley looking to get to the outside. He stopped up. Good tackle made there by Marvin Hodge once again. Listed just a freshman right there, and also looks like Chance Bailey as well.
Yeah, a couple of young guys on this Royals defense. And they're going to get better with time.
Colleyville taking their time, and looks like they're going to be content, not trying to opt for an interception or any turnover. They just want to take a knee and go into the break 23-14. Wise decision, because turnovers, they're so explosive. Instead, you're content. Your defense has done a good job. Really, 2 drives, they've had 70-plus yard touchdowns. Other than that, and of course it's football, you can't take any of it out. But when we look at the game in full, one thing that is going to paint a picture is when you look at the chains. We'll get to halftime stats here in just a moment. We are going to have the bands play during our halftime programming here at the break, and you'll get to view that great performance. But before we do that, just give you a quick glimpse, and we'll come back after that to start the second half about all the stats, all the numbers, and all of our Tramel Jeffers thoughts as we get ready for the second half. But I'll leave you with this. Colleyville, 12 first downs in the first half, just 4 for Richland. So when they moved the chains, they moved them in big ways. But for Colleyville, they got a dozen first downs in the first half in total, 258 yards of offense. And for Bodie Weaver, after a career-low completion percentage last week, just 12 for 33 in the first half, he had as many completions as he did all of last week, and now at 50%, 12 of 24 for 185 yards. And oh, by the way, 3 touchdowns for the D1 commit. So we'll step aside, enjoy the performance at half. We'll have more numbers to break it all down. Colleyville 23, Richland 14. It is Panther Friday night on Tradio. Richland Band performing right now. They're doing their performance. Then Colleyville, of course, will go, and we'll carry that full coverage for you here. Panther Friday night on Tradio. Colleyville leading 23-14 at the break. Stay with us. This is Panther Friday Night on Tradio. At halftime, Colleyville leading 23-14. Alongside Tremel Jeffers, I'm Will Connerly, and Colleyville in the first half, the first punch really thrown by Richland in this ball game. They start off with a 3-play, 93-yard scoring drive, a 79-yard touchdown. But then Colleyville picked up a couple of stops after that, allowed their offense to get on the board because of an interception, made it 7-3. Colleyville then had Bodie Weaver throw for 3 touchdown passes in the second quarter alone, and Colleyville with the lead right now. What stands out to you here at the break when we look at some of the numbers, Tremel?
Just the ability for the Colleyville Heritage Panthers to sustain drives. They are just driving the football and taking time off of that clock. They have 12 total first downs compared to Richland's 5, and they have 255 total yards compared to Richland's 222 total yards. And if they continue to take time off the clock, they win this ball game. Time of possession is key in this game, and sustaining drives and putting up points on the board is also going to be key. So they're going to kick off here to start the second half. Let's see what adjustments Coach Edwards made on the defensive side, and let's see if he can continue that success on offense.
Let's see what adjustments Jed Cates made as well. And remember, this was a team in Richland after the kickoff dribbles out of bounds. Fumbled through the hands, it looked like, of the man deep. And looks like we're going to have a re-kick here to begin the second half. We had a delay to open up this ball game. We started after 8 o'clock, around 8:10 for the opening kickoff, Tremel, because of lightning in the area. Now we're having a little delay to start the second half. They're just going to re-kick it. Not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why they're re-kicking. But, hey, I'll take it because I thought we were going to get penalized for kicking the ball out of bounds. I didn't think he touched it.
So Landon Dressel to kick it again, and the wind looks like picking up here a little bit, and it pushes the ball off the tee. Now Panther and Ryan Lloyd will have to hold as Dressel is set to kick this one off. But another thing for Richland, they were trailing at halftime last week. Tremel, we were watching that game, preparing for this one. This was a Richland team, despite trailing at halftime last week, they score over 30 points in the second half. They win 52-33 after just 17 points in the first half in their week 1 win against their rival Haltom. So Jed Cates, certainly a very experienced head coach. His son, the quarterback, they're out there to start. We'll see what adjustments they make, because other than a couple of big explosive plays, their big touchdowns, they struggled to sustain drives. Just 5, now 6 after they pick up a first down to begin this second half. First downs on the evening, just 6 first downs. And, of course, they've had 2 massive touchdowns of almost 70 yards on each of them. Now Cates takes it himself, looking up the middle. An initial hit applied there by Colleyville. In the secondary, coming up is Isaiah Haynes.
Cates wanted to hit his first read. He pump fakes, and then he just takes what he could on the ground.
Now a run up the gut. That is someone we've talked about a lot, Jayshon Gibson, to pick up a first down. Gibson, 9 carries for 37 yards. They contained him, high snap, and it's Cates who takes it himself, shades a tackle, continues to turn up the field across the 35. And they contained Cates on the ground as well in the first half, didn't run a ton. Gibson, He had about 40 yards on the ground in the first half, did most of his damage on a 68-yard catch. But for as much as they hadn't moved the chains that much, 5 first downs, already have a pair of them on this opening drive. And they're continuing to move inside Colleyville's 30-yard line on this opening drive of the second half.
Yeah, and they moved that ball quick. They were just on their side of the field, and now they are approaching red zone territory. That no-huddle offense, that quick tempo, they're moving.
And continuing to move, and big carry, and Dax Hebison comes in with a solo tackle. A big key senior leader on this team. One of many Panthers celebrating senior night before this one, after a delay followed. And Gibson tumbles down on the turf. And they will pick up a first down on the carry by Jay-Sean Gibson. So 1st and 10, Richland approaching the red zone on their opening drive of the second half. And here goes Gibson. He has space and gets tackled by his own man. He just runs into the back of Theo Gray II, but it's still good for a first down. Goal to go from the 8, no huddle.
Wow, a loss of 5 yards turns into a big gain. He's never down on the ground. And
Gibson in for a score from 8 yards out. His 2nd touchdown of the day, 6th of the season. He had 4 in week 1, 2 now tonight, 1 rushing, 1 receiving, and an 8-yard touchdown. Richland, no problems as they just run it up the gut against Colleyville on the opening drive of the second half.
he's a tough running back. Every time he gets the ball, every time he gets tackled, he falls forward an extra 2 to 3 yards. He is a problem to deal with, and we've seen it today, and we saw it last week.
Beck Spivey on the point after is good. We've got a ball game, 23-21 here in the third quarter. You're watching Panther Friday Night on Tradio.
With a little oomph in it. Now you know. The Carolina legend is here. If you know, you bow.
Back with you, Panther Friday Night on Tradio. Third quarter brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. As we are underway in this second half, Richland drives down the field. Their opening drive of the second half, primarily Jay-Sean Gibson, kind of gashing that Panther defense up the gut. And he finishes off the drive. This kickoff by Richland, and Beck Spivey goes out of bounds, and no return in the works for Gerard Wiley. So the Panthers' quality field position. We'll see what they can do after they put up 255 yards of offense in the first half. They picked up 12 first downs and really got going in the third quarter as Bodie Weaver tossed for 3 touchdowns, 12 of 24 on the game, 50%, after he was just 12 of 33 passing 1 week ago. So Weaver for a 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Big hole for Gerard Wiley, and he's gone. Gerard Wiley going to put it in the house for 6, and the Panthers answer.
Way to answer by Gerard Wiley. I thought it was going to happen last week. He had the rushing lanes last week. I knew the holes were going to open, and it finally did, and he broke one loose on that play.
Breakaway speed for Gerard Wiley, who had 11 carries for just 29 yards in the first half, and he busts one open. A 69-yard touchdown, and that one big time for Gerard Wiley, the point after good, and Colleyville leads it 30-21.
And now that yards per carry average has definitely skyrocketed. He's got 12 carries for 98 yards in this game, and he's averaging 8 yards per carry. So a game where it looked like not much was going for him in the run game now appears that he's having his way.
And the second team all-district running back from a year ago, last year, 5 rushing touchdowns, 647 yards, averaged over 5 yards a carry. Ton of speed, and we saw it right there.
Oh, when he gets out in open space, you could just throw the deuces up because he's gone. He's taking it to the house, as you saw right there on that play.
He had 9 carries for just 36 yards last week. And then before that massive run, again, just 11 attempts for 29 yards. And you know he's a home run hitter, and he hits one right there with his breakaway speed, the dynamic junior running back, Gerard Wiley, who played 10 games last year. The only game he missed was against Richland, and he shows big-time stuff there. The ensuing kickoff bobbled for a moment right there by the freshman Marvin Hodge, and he is able to gather it and get it across the 20-yard line where Richland will start. So 2 drives in the second half and 2 touchdowns for either side. Richland scoring on their opening drive of the third quarter. Colleyville doing it on their opening play of the offensive set for them in this third quarter as well, as Gerard Wiley breaks through in another big hole in between the left guard and tackle, and a big play on the ground. Jay-Sean Gibson having space. Another handoff up the middle. Camden Blackson makes the tackle, but not before Gibson gets across the 35 for a first down.
And they're going to continue that fast-paced offense, that no-huddle offense, and they're going to snap that ball quick because it's working.
And now throw far side, looking for Kellen Williams, and it's incomplete as Cates off target. Cates 6 of 11 today for 193 yards, a pair of touchdowns. But 1 interception as well that led to a Colleyville field goal. Cates looking down the field. It's incomplete. Trammell looked like perhaps that front causing that pressure and maybe deflecting that one.
Yeah, the front got to the ball. They deflected it, hit his arm, deflected it. He had a wide open man right down the seam. Great pressure by the defensive line. They just saved the touchdown on that play.
So 3rd down and 10 for Richland. A 3rd and 10 for Richland, and they throw it out to Jay-Sean Gibson. Colleyville there. Dax Hebeson closes in to make the stop, and it's 4th down. So a great stop for Colleyville after Richland scores a touchdown on their opening drive. And after we had an hour delay to begin this game at 6:30, teams went into the locker room for about an hour and a half, another delay, in the works right now. A lightning start to the second half. Both teams scoring touchdowns on their opening drive of the third quarter. Richland drives it down and scores. Colleyville does it on their first play. A huge 69-yard touchdown by Gerard Wiley. Colleyville then forces a stop. Richland getting ready to punt. And now as you see, lightning in the area once again in the third quarter, and teams needing to head to the locker room just as we were getting underway in the second half. And if you're just joining us, this game started around 8:10. We had a 70-minute delay getting started. Another one in the works here as we begin the third quarter.
Yeah, we were just getting into it. Momentum was starting to get on our side. We were about to force them to punt. We were getting the football back. We had a chance to really blow this ball game up. We're up 9 points right now. We can take a double-digit lead and go up almost 3 scores, possibly 3 scores, depending on what they do after scoring a touchdown. But, man, that's a momentum killer here, and then it just prolongs the game. An exciting game that was going on as well.
Colleyville looking to even their record tonight after dropping in the season opener 20-11. The offense certainly a much better performance here today. 30 points on the board for Colleyville, but right now it is 30-21 and another weather delay in the third quarter. So everybody needing to leave and go to their vehicles and seek shelter. Lightning in the area once again here at Mustang Panther, and another delay. When we have more information on the start time, we'll be sure to tell you here on Tradio. Well, we have an update for you as we just heard from the public address here at Mustang Panther Stadium. And it is not just a weather delay, Trammell, a suspension of the game as well. So that means that tonight's activities concluded, the game suspended. Not sure on any more information. That's what we were given, is that the game is suspended. Now, in a non-district game, wouldn't think that there would be a resumption. Typically, when it gets suspended, you think about resuming it at a time. But for a non-district game, of course, not knowing how long the delay was going to be, maybe we're going to approach, if it's 30 or another hour on the clock, so they come to the decision to suspend the game. Colleyville at a 30-21 lead. With about 8 minutes left in that third quarter, they ran one offensive play in the third quarter. It was a Gerard Wiley 60-yard touchdown. And so Bodie Weaver, 3 passing touchdowns in a quarter. He certainly showed out in quarter number 2. Colleyville, they lead at 30-21, and it's just, there's not much to make of it right now. It's a suspended game. Obviously, wanted to see these guys go at it. Both teams getting ready for tough districts, and now we're left with that. And Colleyville looking ahead to the Colony hosting them next Friday night here at Mustang Panther, when you really feel like you get your 2 tough tests in non-district play out of the way, and you get ready to gear up after Red Oak and Richland for the Colony and the rest of your district schedule, as the Panthers look to make it 2 decades in a row of making the playoffs, and that quest, so to speak, in the standings department starts next week. But this game suspended tonight after a second delay. Started around 8:10, got going in the second half. Each team had a drive, and then lightning in the area escorted everyone out for a delay, then turning into a suspension of the game here tonight. Trammell.
Yeah, fantastic effort from Colleyville tonight. I'm extremely proud of what I saw tonight. We want to also, before we even get into it, let's go ahead and shout out our sponsor.
Oh, yeah, J. Caldwell Pools doing great work. All the sponsors here for Tradio make this broadcast possible. Extremely grateful to our executive producer, Trey Bell, and the entire Tradio production team, along with the Booster Club here at Colleyville as well, supporting this broadcast, and all the great fans being tuned in to what was a display tonight of some really good football. Really, on both sides, some really fantastic plays were made. For me, the top play of the night, the Lucas Sunwall catch, but there were some fantastic things. Gerard Wiley might take the cake as well for running at 69 yards. But again, Trammell, as you were wrapping those thoughts up about this matchup, I mean, game gets suspended. You're up 30-21 on a formidable Richland team in the third quarter, and unfortunately, Lightning ends up suspending this one.
Yeah, but from the game that we did see up to the 3.5 quarters that we did get to watch, 3.5 quarters that we got to watch, great effort by the Panthers tonight. They rebounded very well after losing their season opener to Red Oak. Didn't really play well offensively. It was the complete opposite tonight. That receiving core really had a all hands on deck approach today. Everybody chipped in. Dez Bryant, Lucas Sunwall. Who else am I missing?
Well, we've got Connor Supacasey,
Blake Wendler, Dressel even pitched in. I mean, everybody did a great job in the receiving game. It was all hands on deck tonight. Got the run game going a little bit. Jared Wiley was able to break a long one. Just a great offensive effort, and we can't forget about the amazing quarterback in Bodie Weaver, the D1 commit at UTEP. He shows you why he's going to play D1 football, displaying his talents with his legs, with his arm, throwing off platform. He was excellent tonight. I really enjoyed what I saw from this Panthers offense. That is what impressed me the most. And defensively, they did a very good job as well against a very dynamic and lethal Richland Royals offense. They held their own tonight. We didn't get to finish the game, but from what we saw so far, I mean, they got the job done.
So 30-21, a suspension of the game. Thank you all so much for tuning in here. Panther Friday Night on Tradio. We'll be back next week. The Colony coming to town, as Colleyville hosts them next Friday night as we start district play. But this one, a suspension. 30-21, Colleyville with the lead. About 8 to go in the third quarter. Bodie Weaver, 3 touchdowns. Lucas Sumwell, over 80 yards receiving. And the Panthers offense looking really good. They tuned up with that offense before district play gets going next week against the Colony. We'll have it for you here live on Tradio for Panther Friday Night. For Tramel Jeffers and our entire crew, I'm Will Connerly saying so long. Have a beautiful Friday evening. We'll see you next week.